I watched the Demon Slayer Infinity Castle movie at 0.25 speed, and I found 102 details that you definitely didn't notice before. Let's start with detail number 1. Right at the beginning of the story, the way Gyomei walks to the cemetery under the falling snow is a clear reference to the way Muzan walks through the snow towards Master Kaguya's house. When Nakimi threw Tanjiro away from Muzan, if you zoom in on the left side, you can see Gyu Tomioka positioned sideways like Spider-Man. That's why he was able to get there in time to save Tanjiro. And in that same scene where Gyu almost doesn't reach Tanjiro and makes that depressed emo face, it was because that moment gave him a PTSD flashback from when he tried to reach Sabito before passing out. Now, something that might catch you by surprise. Did you know that Mitsuri's skirt was actually always pants? If you look at this scene, when she falls, the animator literally shows us the full view of the pants for the first time. That's why it never works like a skirt. Speaking of Mitsuri, we can't leave out Yobanai, her ultimate crush. Some people asked, why did they animate Obanai with a sword sheath? This kind of sword is physically impossible to put in any kind of sheath. Well, that's only true if Obanai's sword sheath were made from a single piece. Because if you look at the ending of the 4th season, they reveal that Obanai's sword sheath is actually a kind of box, and he can open it and put his sword in or take it out by removing the tip of the sheath. Notice the clever easter egg that the animators put in the first 6 demons that Gyu and Tanjiro fought. These first 6 are generic versions of all the Upper Moons. As you can see, it literally looks like Rantango, Upper Moon 4. The other one has 8 eyes, a copy of Upper Moon 1. There's a small Oni coming out of the head of another Oni with a vase. Reminds me of Upper Moon 5. Gyoku. Another one is wearing martial artist clothes just like Akaza did when he was human. He looks stupid with a punchable face, just like Doma. And the last one is a two-headed dragon that reminds us of the Oni siblings Aki and Gyutaro. They thought we wouldn't notice these generic versions of the Upper Moons, but we noticed. In the movie, we can see that Tanjiro uses his new sword, the old Diorite sword. But it's still black. That's because the Diorite sword was also black. It only turned red when he used some breeding. The reason why the Diorite sword turned red and glowed to begin with is because its nichirin ore was one of the best ores for absorbing heat, not just sunlight. The most impressive part about this is that Diorite's body temperature when he used sun breathing could be considered to be on the same level as Nezuko's flames, making the sword absorb most of the heat from his body and turn red and glow. That's why no one can use sun breathing as well as he could, because their swords didn't do a good job of absorbing the heat from their users, which caused their body temperature to destroy their internal organs when it got too hot. This also explains why Tanjiro never had any health problems after using the Diorite blade. Now everything makes sense. Notice that the platform Muzan and Atamai are on is completely floating, and it's not connected to any building. This shows that Nakimi's Demon Blood art can literally make structures float. There was a masterful move. She instantly isolated Muzan so that no Demon Slayer could advance against him. If they wanted to fight Muzan, they would have to make an insane jump or find a way to fly. And if you look here, in the scene where Nakimi is pushing the building, the yellow light on the building changes to blue. That means she is watching that place at that moment. She can't watch 2 battles at the same time, and that's why she didn't notice Yutiro coming up behind her later in the story. Did you know that every leap Mitsuri makes is exactly the kind of movement a ballerina makes? That's why she teaches the hunters to dance in her mansion during the Hashira training arc. Each briefing form was so carefully thought out and has a logical reference behind it. And people say that Demon Slayer isn't that deep. Maybe it's the depth of your own belly button that's not deep. And if you're enjoying these fun facts, give the video a like. This shows that I didn't waste my time finding all these details for us to look at together. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next crazy videos like this one. Continuing, you can see that Master Kaguya was truly a genius when he sat down. He was literally an old school nerd. Now, this is a detail the size of a grain of sand. If you look closely at these 3 frames, You notice that Nakimi can actually create buildings out of nothing and not just move them. In this scene, if you slow it down carefully, you can see that Doma actually hid his fan under his shirt and pulls it out like a magician. If you zoom in on each column in the scene of Doma's castle, you'll notice that the entire structure is floating on the water. The columns stop halfway to the water instead of going all the way to the bottom. Did you notice why Nakimi put Sanemi in such a huge tower that looked different from all the others? It's because she was angry with him for breaking her eyes into pieces. That's why she greeted him with a giant Oni and threw him against a group of Oni at the same level as the lower moons. Not only that, she even took him straight to Upper Moon 1 as revenge. Now, pay attention to this ridiculously small detail. See, all the Oni activate their powers through blood. And it's shown to us that there was a small amount of blood on Nakimi's instrument every time she played it. That's how she connected the ordinary instrument to her blood demon art in the Infinity Castle. When Shinobu stabs Doma's eyes, the animators use the camera from our perspective, making us see through Doma's eyes. If you pause these two frames, you'll notice that it's us who are bleeding. The reason why Inosuke is so happy is because he's been trapped in this kind of crazy, constantly moving building before. That happened back in the first season, remember? He thinks this battle will be easy. You can even see him moving better than most of the Hashiras, precisely because he's used to this. If we zoom in on the handle of Kanao's sword, we can see that it's designed similarly to Obanai's, but instead of a snake symbol, it has a design of 4 flowers. The sheath of her sword also has a single red flower. In the Infinity Castle, when the regular members of the Demon Slayer Corps offer to help Tokito and Gyomei, Tokito briefly looks back at them. This is a reference to the 4th season, when he called them useless. At this moment, he was actually proud of them. If you look at the medicine box that Rokodaki used on Nezuko, it's exactly the same type that we often see being carried by Uchiro's cat, Chachamago. This suggests that the cat is acting as a courier during the battle. If you look at this scene for the Infinity Castle movie and zoom in on the pool of blood that Muzan is stepping in, you'll notice that underneath the pool of blood, there is actually a pile of human bodies. The animators really didn't spare any effort here. Back to Doma's scene in this movie, all the dead women that Upper Moon 2 was eating have their fists clenched, because the atmosphere in that room was very cold. Even Shinobu had her fists clenched the whole time when she wasn't fighting. When Shinobu performs this quick attack, she actually lands another blow on Doma's chest. But he heals so quickly that it's only visible for 3 frames. I don't know what impresses me more, Shinobu's speed or the incredible dedication of the animators. And the reason there are so many dead women near Doma is that Nakimi probably threw them there, to lure him and keep him in one place, based on Doma's personality. There's no way he would just listen to Nakimi and stay put without some kind of bait. As you can see, the other Upper Moons stayed in their respective places and followed Nakimi's lead without needing any treats or tricks. Doma is basically like a puppy. In the Butterfly Mansion, there were 4 certificates on the wall. These certificates belong to Kanao and the other 3 students of Shinobu who were killed. As revealed in the movie, when Shinobu dies and drops her sword because there's dirt underneath it, it's not to show dirt inside the Infinity Castle, right? Well, that's not dirt. If you look closely, you'll see it's because of the wooden floor broken by Shinobu when she uses the centipede move. We can see this clearly when Kanao jumps in the scene, when Tanjiro used the 9th form of water breathing to avoid falling. It's actually a reference to when he used the same form to defeat Kyogai, whose demon blood art had powers similar to Nakimi's. Here we can see that better experience makes all the difference. People have been wondering how Kiryubu Yashiki was able to prepare the paper and draw the map before everyone was thrown into the Infinity Castle. The truth is that Kiria and his sisters were never inside the Infinity Castle. That's obvious. They used Ushiro's demon blood art to see and sense everything through the crows. Since the entire Infinity Castle is made of demon cells, it was easy for Ushiro to sense its entire structure. As you can see in this demonstration, humans are almost invisible to Ushiro, but the demons aren't. The crows have also been following every member of the demon hunting squad the whole time, even while remaining invisible. Furthermore, the dirt and the trees outside in the scene are clear proof that they are not inside the Infinity Castle. In the Infinity Castle, when Zenitsu has a flashback, we can see that the field he's in is actually a field of red resurrection lilies. Did you know that the circular hole that the stone Hashira broke with the upper moon looks exactly like Rengoku's donut hole? Sorry, I couldn't resist that joke. Did you know that the hilt of Obanai's sword has a small golden snake symbol if you zoom in closely? Did you notice that in the Infinity Castle movie, every time the camera quickly zooms in on a character, the Oni always appears a second later? This means that the quick zoom is a clever way for the animator to show Nakimi's perspective and what she's thinking. Did you notice that the Stone Hashira is the only character who doesn't wear socks? It's not that surprising though, his feet are probably too big. Also, notice that Kaigaku's pendant was yellow when he was still human. Notice that Kaigaku's pendant was yellow when he was still human, before becoming the substitute Upper Moon 6. The yellow color may represent the purity of breathing in his human form. In this scene, the reason why Gyu looks disappointed with Tanjiro is because he's still upset that Tanjiro rejected the idea of becoming the next water Hashira after him. And now, Tanjiro has the audacity to use water breathing in front of him. People think that Shuntaro, Zenitsu's sparrow, wasn't in the Infinity Castle because we never saw him with Zenitsu here, but it's actually the opposite. Shuntaro was in the Infinity Castle, busy doing reconnaissance and mapping the place, just like the crows. That's why we didn't see him with Zenitsu. Our boy had work and duty to do. After all, he was assigned to Zenitsu by the corpse, so Zenitsu was kind of his temporary master. They did a really great job showing how each Hashira reacts to Shinobu's death. Everyone was sad and shocked. But our boys couldn't stop moving. They had a duty to fulfill, and instead of crying, they silently acknowledged that Shinobu had fulfilled her duty. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. They couldn't waste a single second or spend time lamenting. Now, a detail for Akaza's fangirls. Did you notice Akaza's abs? In the third season, at the Upper Moon's meeting, Akaza only has a six-pack. But in the movie, when he fights against Gyu and Tanjiro, he shows up with an 8-pack. I guess someone was training in secret, huh? If you watch closely, you'll see that Zenitsu's lightning effect is light blue, not yellow, and Kagaku's lightning is dark blue. In this scene, it looks like their lightning hits the lamp above and makes it flicker. But remember, all that lightning is just for us to see. It's not real. Also, those lamps are part of Nakimi's blood demon art, and they are not connected to any electricity. So, why are they flickering? Remember what I showed before? Every time a yellow lamp flickers from yellow to blue, it means Nakimi is watching that spot and part of the castle. Some people wonder why Nakimi hasn't eliminated all the crows yet. Notice that even if she can't see the crows because of Yuichiro's blood demon art of invisibility, she could hear them when they announce that an upper moon is dead, right? Well, Nakimi's ability only lets her see. She can't hear anything through those eyes, so... Even now, not even Musa knows that there are crows flying all over the Infinity Castle. I want to see if you caught this one. When Zenitsu uses his 7th form to finish off Kaigaku, his clothes were burning in the process. It's because he was moving so fast that the friction from the air and his sword created heat and burned his kimono. In this scene, when Shinobu uses her stylish form to push Doma from below up to the ceiling, you can see huge black veins behind him that look like tree roots. That is actually Nakimi's blood demon art. She's trying to prevent the ceiling from breaking. If Shinobu pushed Doma away from the lake, he wouldn't be able to use his eyes as effectively. That's a very smart move by Nakimi. Even though Doma is the cult leader, he believes that the heavens and spirits are real. But remember, in the words of Demon Slayer, spirits are very much real. Tanjiro never met Makomo and Sabito in his entire life. However, he was able to see them. And they can interact with people again as well. This means that in this scene, it really is the ghost, or rather the spirit of Kanai, coming to encourage Shinobu. It was never a hallucination on her part. The reason this psychopath puts all the skulls of his followers on his vest is because it reflects his personality. He likes beauty, but he's cruel. He acts elegantly, but spreads horror. Doma only eats beautiful women, not because he hates them, but because he likes them. Did you know that each character's sandal has a small dot on the bottom, and each dot matches the character's team color? For example, Obanai has a purple dot, and Mitsuri has a pink dot. But when I waste the precious time of my life zooming in on each character's feet, I discovered something interesting. Everyone's sandals looked brand new, except for Ginyu's. The reason Ginyu keeps wearing old sandals is because he believes he doesn't deserve the luxury items and high salary that the Hashiras receive. You can even see in his house that he doesn't have a single piece of furniture. The reason Kagako became the new Upper Moon 6 and Nakimi the new Upper Moon 4, while the Upper Moon 5 is absent, is because our boy Muzan was in a hurry. He didn't expect a final battle to come so soon. His original plan was that after killing Biashiki, he would make Yushiro the new Upper Moon 5. Yushiro's ability is unique. Just like Nakimi's, he may not be strong in combat, but his power can easily counter Nakimi precisely because she relies 100% on her vision. If she can't see, she's done for. We know that Muzan knew about Yushiro's existence and what his power was, because demons share information through blood. And in the 4th season, he even said the name of Yushiro's demon blood art correctly, just by seeing a piece of his paper on Tamayo's head. Note that this is the first time we hear Kanao shout and speak in an aggressive tone. Normally, we can barely hear what she's saying. Maybe it's the first time she's ever shouted in her life. In the fight against the house, we can see that when the house uses this ability to fight the two hunters from all directions, it creates friction throughout the building, making it look like fireworks, just as he promised his wife. And I found so many details that this video only has half of what I discovered. That's why, since it takes me a long time to edit videos and bring quality content, I don't want to leave you without good content. I'm going to split this video into 2 parts. So, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss part 2. And while I prepare the next part with more hidden details, watch this video here. I guarantee you won't regret it. And I will see you there, Otaku!